Back in high school, I took a class focused on mysteries and mythology. It was exactly the kind of class I loved. Real-life mysteries, unexplained places, and creepy stories. One day, our teacher announced a field trip to a nearby abandoned village with an unknown past. The village had been built in the early 1900s, but was abandoned not long after. The bus ride there took about 20 minutes. As we drove deeper into the forest, the road became narrow and cracked, trees pressing in from both sides. Everyone on the bus went quiet, glued to the windows. When we arrived, it felt like time had stopped. Grass grew through the broken road, nearly knee-high in some places. Tall, archaic brick buildings surrounded the clearing, their windows boarded shut. The air was heavy, silent, and unsettling. The teacher lined us up, counted heads, and explained the task. We were supposed to observe the village and try to figure out why it had been abandoned so suddenly. As the group moved toward what looked like an old village church, my friend Ben and I noticed one building that stood taller than all the others. Something about it pulled our attention. When the teacher wasn't looking, we slipped away from the group and headed toward it. Behind the building, we found a hole dug into the ground near a sealed back door. Inside the hole was a rusty ladder leading down into darkness. We looked at each other and silently agreed we were going in. Ben climbed down first. I followed, using the flashlight on my phone to see. The basement was cold and smelled like dust and rot. Old wooden planks were scattered everywhere. Empty beer bottles sat in corners, and a single graffiti tag was sprayed across one wall. At the far end of the basement was a wooden staircase leading upward into complete darkness. Every door and window above had been boarded shut. We hesitated, but curiosity won. I went up first. Each step creaked loudly beneath my weight, the 100-year-old wood groaning as if it might collapse. Ben followed close behind. The floor above was tight and maze-like, filled with narrow hallways and small rooms branching off in different directions. It was so dark you wouldn't have guessed it was daytime outside. That's when we heard it. A loud sound, like a heavy rock hitting concrete, came from one of the rooms. Every instinct told us to run, but instead we froze. Ben and I locked eyes. Slowly, we crept toward the doorway and shined our flashlights inside. We didn't stay long enough to understand what we were seeing. We ran. We sprinted back down the stairs, climbed the ladder, and burst out into daylight, hearts pounding. Without saying a word, we rushed back to the group. Later, one of our classmates asked what was wrong. Still shaken, we told him the truth. When we had shined our lights into the room, we saw 3 men standing about 10 feet away, facing us. They weren't moving, they weren't speaking, they were just standing there in a strange formation, as if they had been waiting for us. As the field trip came to an end, I looked back toward the tall building one last time. In one of the upper windows, one that hadn't been boarded shut, I saw a face staring out at us. Ben believes they were ghosts, remnants of the people who once lived there, trapped in the village long after everyone else left. I don't know what they were. Homeless people, squatters, something worse. But the way they stood there, silent and perfectly still, is an image I've never been able to forget. One day, I might go back, to prove Ben wrong, or to confirm he was right.